So the seat bottom is next, and this is the one where there's quite a bit of design change between, I believe, the instructions, what they're based on, and what I've got in front of me. So you've got this plastic, or excuse me, cardboard support part. I think I've showed you all these parts already that I helped between this cage here and the seat cushion. So I've already taken care of this. This guy's all cleaned up, ready to go. First thing it has you do is find the center of the ribs here, and I've already done that. I just measured it from this seam, and drew it in the center, and you would expect that it lines up with the center rib, and it does. I kind of surprised that they make you do this, and then I've also found the center of the cushion. You can see that line in there, and again, I'm just measuring from either side and just centering it up there, and then drawing a straight line through. So now I know where the center is on that. So you'll flip this inside out, the seat cushion, or the seat cover, I should say, inside out. Alright, so now that's good. So now, with the seat cushion inside out and with the line there, you can line up the center of the seat cushion with the center of the seat cover. And then this is where the design change comes in. Now on the design that I have, it appears as if this piece here that looks like it's extra for the bolsters for your hips and stuff like that, that comes in a separate piece. Now this is fused really well. There's no way that I'm going to get this apart without destroying it. So we'll try to work with that. And the other thing is there's extra pieces of fabric on the seat cover here that allows you to kind of pre-glue it to the padding and helps it hold its spot. And then that's what I think I'm going to struggle with. So now once you get it aligned, centered up and centered vertically. Alright, so another thing, once you line it up on center, and again I'm kind of trying to work with these instructions a little bit. You want to fold the edge back here, or I'll show you on this side so you can actually see it. Fold the edge back and find right where this bottom, right where the little corner of the cushions all meet, and then mark that. Because you want to make sure that this is where your cushion's going to go back when you glue it down. Alright, now with those marked, now I'll go ahead and I'm going to spray glue everything. So we're going to spray glue this center portion in here, put the pad down, spray glue the rib section here, and we'll try to make this all work. Alright, so we got those sprayed down. We'll let that tack up. Set this thing down. Try to set it down nicely. Then we're going to glue the wings over here like one at a time. Glue the front over here like one at a time. That's why you're only putting the glue in certain spots, because you want to be able to adjust and be able to flip it up and stuff like that. Alright, so that should be enough. Again, using the match lines that we made. Alright, so now that we've got that, now we're just going to go around and glue these down here. Go ahead and glue this one down here. So we'll do the wings first. I'll hold this up because it's going to want to flat back on me. Alright, got that one. If you have the newer piece, you're going to have some calico, some extra flaps on this, and you would bend that down at that point and then glue on that other piece and all that, but I don't have that, unfortunately, because it seems like that would lead itself to a much tighter and nicer finish, so hopefully we'll be okay. But now what I'm going to do, because I don't have that, we're going to go with the wireframe next. So the cardboard goes on first. It is jointed, I guess you could say. So I'll work these joints a little bit just so they'll be okay to bend here. Just kind of works its way up. So you can see here how that's going to kind of go in. So the first joint goes here, second joint down there. And then the seat frame itself will go on. And there's almost like little notches back here, if you can see that. And up here, which you can't see. Little notches back here where I'm trying to get the seat frame inside of those notches and still keep that cardboard lined up. Try to keep everything just about centered. So now that I've got that pad on there, what I'm going to do is come up and it goes over the second bar. You can see there's a bar here and a bar here. Goes over the second bar. Now originally they were hog ring attached. I'm not going to use hog rings. I'm going to use zip ties. So I'm just going to poke a hole in the vinyl here. Put a zip tie through there. Alright, so that'll hold that. I'll do one on the other side. Alright, so that's that. Feels pretty tight, feels pretty good. Wonderful. So looking at the directions, it looks like there's 7 or so per side. Tells you to turn it upside down, pull the skirts over like I did. Complete both sides, do not pull too tightly, just enough to hold the piping correctly at both sides. Alright, so the piping should be on the edges here, so this side needs to come over a little bit more. But I think that looks pretty good. Do some more zip ties here. Alright, we'll check it again, then we're going to do 2 up front and at least 1 through the back here on each side, and then I'll let you take a look. Alright, so I got zip ties on there. Looking pretty good as far as I'm concerned. So now I'm going to put this back flap in. The instructions make a specific point of not pulling too tight, and my guess is just because this is going to be a high stress area when you put your butt there. So I'm just going to essentially give me just enough fabric to, or just enough vinyl to be able to zip tie it and do that. Alright, the back is done. Unfortunately, even though I told you 6 times to read ahead, I didn't read quite enough ahead. And this seam here is supposed to fall back over the back a little bit. So I think I'm okay with where it's at. The picture's just a little bit different than in the book. The seam is heavier. It feels like it's got piping all the way through it, where the one in the instructions doesn't appear that way. But I think I'm okay. So now that I've got this, now I'm going to have to roll the front over. So now this is probably, hopefully, going to be not so tricky. What I'm worried about here is that I was having problems in the past where the pad would fall into the you would get a big air gap in here. So what I'm going to try to do is kind of dry run it a little bit and see if I get that air gap. Alright, doesn't feel like I'm getting an air gap. Sticking my fingers in there to work it in there. Yep. Pad's all right there. And believe it or not, that's what it's supposed to look like. So I'm not going to glue that. I was thinking I might glue it, but it'll get attached here in a second to everything else. So I'm going to go offline real quick and get the squab back here and finish this seat up. So I got the squab up here. That's sitting there. And then the seat itself. Oop, I gotta snip all these. Alright. So now this should fit the wireframe. Fits right down into the seat. And that front flap comes over. Alright, so you can see, just barely see the frame of the seat there. And then the bar, or the wireframe, fits down right inside of that. And it almost clips into the back, amazingly enough. It's kind of clipping in for me. So now, what we'll do is we'll go ahead, we're going to use more of these clips in here, these guys that I've showed you before. We're going to put several of them in here. Now the one last thing you got to worry about too is you've got the hinge things, which I'll slice out relief holes here for in a second, but I want to get this guy in here first. Alright, there it is. Actually doesn't look half bad. So that's how I did it. Again, different version maybe that you'll have when you if you order a new kit, but definitely the newer instructions are better, and they will work. So overall, not too bad. Again, I don't like these spots in here and in here. This one's going to make me nervous. It feels like that's going to tear out. But there you go. All right. Well, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully this will help you and come through the upholstery thing, which ended up not being incredibly horrible, but not something I want to do for a living, that's for sure. So thanks a lot. Cheers.